I had a request from someone on my bulletin board who wanted me to discuss low effort families. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist. Um, I have done discussions on low effort families and low effort friends previously, but I'll definitely revisit it today because it was a request, and a few people I think seem to like that comment. So essentially, with a low effort family, is essentially what the word means, which is that this family, your family, the relationship is one sided between you and your family. It is one in which you are you are making all the effort to maintain connection, maintain communication. Um, just making an effort to try and grow closer in the relationship with your family, while your family doesn't make any effort, at least any outward effort with you, and I'll get to that in a few minutes. So what this would look like would be like you have a life living in Georgia, and your family may live in another state like Tennessee or something like that. And you kind of make it your business to go and visit your family frequently because they're always like, when are we going to see you? And so you're always the one making the effort to visit. If um, if there's any other communications like calls or texts or things like that, you are always the initiator. If you do not initiate, you will never hear from them. And you always have to go and see them and visit with them and be with them on their turf and on their terms. They're not coming to see you. They don't know anything about you, your life, your friends, and what you've got going on where you are. They just know the superficial stuff, whatever it is you tell them, but they don't make an effort to connect with you, get to know you, be vulnerable with you, know the special little things about you. They don't necessarily know you at the stage of development that you're at either. So, for example, you and your siblings might have been cool when you were little, but now you're a grown woman. They don't know you as a grown woman. They don't know, they couldn't tell you about your relationships, or they don't ever ask about your relationships. They may not even know what you do as a career, how you like your job, that kind of stuff. And so there's no effort to communicate and get to know you. Things may be very transactional, and what you may find yourself doing um, is really stuck in this loop where you're trying to appease them. You're going above and beyond to try and get some sort of connection with them, and really you're hoping and wishing that one day you'll get it. You'll have a great relationship with dad, mom, sister, brother, whomever. You're hoping that one day there's this grand epiphany, when there is not. But you keep overdoing it, overextending yourself, being there, showing up, and doing it too much, essentially, and wishing that they're going to do it for you. Now, while they're not making any effort with you directly, they may be making efforts indirectly with you. And so what that means is I've talked quite a bit about stalking on my channel, on this page. And so low effort families are also notorious for sort of trying to keep up with you, um, off paper. They may be, connecting with other people, seeing what's going on with you. They may be, trying to look at your social media to see what you've got going on. And this isn't always the case, but a lot of times they'll obsess and stalk you while not having a relationship with you. And, if they don't like you, they will there will be a whole smear campaign, talks, judgments about the life that you live from afar, even though they don't really know any intimate details. What they may do is look at your social media and things like that and sort of try to fill in the blanks and talk shit. There are also some that don't even do that, right? So there's variations to low effort. Meanwhile, you're none the wiser. If they kind of look at you on social media, you're none the wiser, because they don't want you to know that, and that is by design. This could also be one or two people, but it can also be a group of people who do this, and it is intentional to kind of keep you out of the loop of everything. And so sometimes with low effort families, what it can seem like is everybody else, you're the odd man out. And I've done a post on being the odd man out. Everybody else seems to have a relationship or communicate more consistently, but you don't. Or they seem to be making efforts with each other, but not with you. So it can vary. There's also this level of self-righteousness about the communication, like the expectation is there, that you're supposed to be the one making all the effort. So if you were to ask, well, I haven't heard from you, or I was thinking about you, well, you could have called. The expectations that you're always going to be the one to call and make the effort. So there's that. Reasons for the low effortness can vary. That could just be people's personality types. Everybody's kind of in their own world. You guys weren't brought up to have a close relationship. There could have been a lot of high conflict within your family unit, and everybody just sort of dispersed and did that. But there can also be feelings of animosity too, especially if there were golden child and scapegoats and all of those kinds of dynamics, ugly ducklings, or whatever the case may be. If there's different types of dynamics there, then people can feel a way about you and not necessarily have that conflict with you outwardly, but they may hold contempt and resentment towards you. You can also, family members can also be low effort because there's a person within the unit that's sort of pulling the puppet strings, that encourages people to not have a relationship with you or to have a negative relationship with you. And so that person is kind of pulling the strings behind your back, and they have a lot of contempt, and everyone else just sort of follows that person's lead or follows what that person tells them to do. And usually when you have people that are doing that, that's usually a very strong parental figure, that like considers themselves to be in charge, but they also can be quite the drama starter. It can be very hard for you to get to a place of acceptance when you have a low effort family, and a lot of people have a false sense of acceptance, where they say, well, I know who my parents are, I know who my siblings are, and I've accepted them. But really, that's a false sense. If you have it in the back of your mind that you're kind of hoping and wishing that things would change, and you'll know if this is you, because typically special days, or holidays and things like that, or even just like trying times in your life can be very hard, where you just wish that they would show up, that they would just like make the slightest bit of effort, that people would be concerned. Another way you'll know is if you are hyper vigilant about showing up for everybody else in your life. So you're repeating the patterns of overextending yourself, with your job, with your peers, your friends, your colleagues, and such. So it'll typically repeat itself. And so just let me know what you guys think, as we're out of time here, and I'm happy to continue the conversation on low effort families. Thank you so much for putting this request up on the bulletin board. It's always nice to revisit topics like this that resonates with a lot of people. So like, comment, follow, and share. Definitely hype this video up if you watch it on YouTube. Thanks so much. Until next time.